everybody. So, I just watched the movie called Descent on Facebook. It was aired in 2007. The main star is Rosario Dawson. And it's not too bad of a movie, but it leaves a bit to be desired. So, the very beginning starts off strong. It starts with her being at a party and talking to a few people, and she ends up going on a date with this guy, and he ends up taking her back to his place and raping her. That kind of starts this downward spiral for her, and there were a few things in the middle of the movie that didn't make a whole lot of sense, but in a way it all tied together. Towards the end of the movie, it actually ended strong. She somehow became a teacher's aide, which they never showed anything about. But the man that raped her was in one of the classes that she was taking part in. And she saw him cheating, and she said, "I'm gonna turn you in." And he was like, "Oh, you wouldn't do that. You know, you're my favorite, blah, blah, blah. You know you still want me." And she was like, "Actually, you know what? I would. I'd like to see more of you." So she takes him back to her place. Or I should say, she invites him to her place. He shows up. I don't know if it's later that night or a different night, but he comes over. They have a little bit of wine. They're talking. And she's like, "Oh, well, tonight's my night, so why don't you strip?" So he strips in the middle of her living room. She teases him a little bit, walking around him while he's completely naked. She's still fully dressed in her little black dress, running her hands up and down his body, saying, "Oh, not a scar, not a blemish on you, just perfection." And then she takes what I'm assuming was a shawl and blindfolds him and leads him to this room. The room is basically set up like a torture chamber. She handcuffs his hands to the bedposts. She does the same to his ankles, and he's still blindfolded. She tells him not to talk anymore while she gets out everything that's been going on for the past however long it was since he raped her. And then he says, "It's okay, baby, it's okay." And at that, she flips. Puts another shawl or sock or something in his mouth so he can't talk. Takes what appears to be a wooden leg from a chair and proceeds to rape him with it. Then she calls in her friend Adrian, who's a bouncer at one of the clubs she visited during the middle of the movie that didn't make a whole lot of sense. And Adrian proceeds to rape him. Him being the man that raped her in the beginning. His name is Jared. And probably the best line in this whole movie, after Adrian rapes him for a few minutes, he tells Rosario, or in the movie her name is Maya, to take off the blindfold so he can see who his daddy is. So Maya takes the blindfold off of Jared, and Jared looks up at Adrian and goes, Jared looks up at Adrian, and Adrian goes, "Hello, fairy cake," and I couldn't help but giggle at that. So at the very end of the movie, Adrian looks at Maya and says, "So everything's okay now, right?" And Maya slowly turns her head up to him. She never says anything, but she gives a slight nod, kind of like as a tear slowly rolls down her cheek. That's the whole movie. Out of 10 stars, I'd maybe give it a 4. I've seen better, but I've definitely seen worse. My suggestion for this movie is, if you like psychological movies or really messed up dramas, go for it. If if those aren't really your forte, stay away.